Avery Sinclair never thought that teasing a cute little intern would come back to bite her in the most delicious, dangerous way. 2 years ago, she was the queen of the design department at Fuji Group's New York office, living in her sleek Tribeca loft, driving her white Porsche, and turning heads in every room she entered. At 28, Avery was confident, gorgeous, and notoriously allergic to anything that smelled like commitment, especially to younger men. She liked them older, established, the kind who wore Tom Ford suits and knew how to handle a woman like her. Puppies were cute, but she didn't keep pets. Then came Zaid Meadows. He was 24, fresh-faced, with tousled dark hair, ocean blue eyes, and a shy smile that made every woman in the office melt. The interns called him the Golden Retriever. Avery called him Little Brother, just to watch his ears turn pink. During a company team-building trip to the Hamptons, she got tipsy on Rose and dared him to call her big sister for a drink. The entire department hooted when he stammered it out, cheeks flaming like ripe apples. She laughed, down the shot, slung an arm around his shoulders, and let her body lean into his just enough to feel the hard ridges of eight-pack abs beneath his thin t-shirt. She's mine to ruin one day. Just not today. That night, drunk on champagne and victory, she accidentally kissed his neck while stumbling into a waiting Maybach he'd called for her. The imprint of her crimson lips stayed on his skin like a brand. Avery wiped it off with her thumb, giggling, and disappeared into her building without looking back. The next morning, Zaid stood in the middle of the open-plan office holding 99 long-stemmed roses and asked her to be his girlfriend in front of the entire company. Avery smiled, sweet as poison. "You can't seriously think I like you, little brother. I was just being nice to an intern." The roses hit the floor. Zaid's face went white, then scarlet. He turned and walked out, never to return. She didn't think about him again. Until 2 years later, her mother had dragged her to yet another blind date in a private room at Per Se. The man was 50, balding, and already complaining that Avery was too skinny to give him 3 fat sons. She was 2 seconds from throwing her martini in his face when the door opened. A man in a bespoke charcoal Brioni suit stepped in, all sharp jawline, lethal cheekbones, and eyes dark as midnight. The kind of dangerous beauty that made the room tilt. "Excuse me," he said, voice like velvet over steel. "That's my wife." Avery's glass froze halfway to her lips. He crossed the room in 4 strides, slid into the chair beside her, and rested one possessive hand on the back of her neck. "Sorry I'm late, baby girl." She knew that voice. Deeper now. Rougher, but still his. "Zaid?" she whispered. He smiled, slow and predatory. "Hello, big sister. Long time no see." Her heart slammed against her ribs. The boy was gone. In his place sat a man who looked like he owned the world, and intended to own her too. "He's mine now. Every breath, every heartbeat, every filthy little thought in that pretty head. Mine." Zaid leaned in until his lips brushed the shell of her ear. "You're going to give me another chance, Avery. Or I'll take it." She tried to run. He was faster. One arm caged her against the table, the other tilting her chin up with 2 fingers. 2 years, he murmured. 2 years I built an empire just so I could come back and make you beg. Avery swallowed hard. "We're not suited, Zaid. You're still younger?" He laughed darkly. "I'm 26, billionaire CEO of Meadows Capital, majority shareholder of this entire corporation you work for, and the man who's going to have you screaming my name in the penthouse tonight. Age never mattered, baby girl. Power does." She's trembling. Good. Fear looks so pretty on her. That night he took her to the top of One Vanderbilt, the entire city glittering beneath them like diamonds spilled across black silk. A private table, a 1945 Chateau Petrus, and his hand sliding up her thigh beneath the tablecloth. "You owe me dinner," he said. 2 dinners. And interest. Avery tried to keep it light, teasing, the way she always had. But every time she opened her mouth, he looked at her like he already owned every inch of her soul. When the bill came 6 figures, she nearly choked. Zaid just slid his black Amex across the table without glancing at it. "Keep the card," he told the waiter. "She'll be using it from now on." On the drive home in his matte black Rolls-Royce Phantom, She stared out the window, pulse racing. He reached over and laced their fingers together. Look at me. She did. You're mine, Avery Sinclair. You've always been mine. I just had to become the kind of man who could keep you. The next day, the entire office discovered their new vice president was none other than Zaid Meadows. The intern Avery had publicly crushed 2 years ago. Grown up, lethal, and clearly not over her. He moved into the corner office on the top floor, the one with panoramic views of Manhattan, Italian marble, and a private bedroom hidden behind a bookcase. Everyone whispered. Avery felt his gaze on her every second. He started small. A Cartier love bracelet delivered to her desk, so you can't take it off. A Van Cleef and Arras necklace that cost more than her annual salary, because my woman wears the best. Fresh sunflowers every morning, because he remembered they were her favorite. Then came the coffee campaign. The client wanted something groundbreaking. Avery's team fought tooth and nail. Someone, clearly jealous, deleted their entire presentation the night before the pitch. Security cameras conveniently offline. Zaid stalled the clients for an hour and a half while Avery and her team hand-drew an entire campaign on paper. Ancient chinoiserie meets modern New York, raw and breathtaking. The clients signed on the spot. That night, the team celebrated at a rooftop in Soho. Zaid paid for everything, grilled Wagyu with his own hands, and watched Avery like she was the only woman on earth. She got drunk. Of course she did. When everyone else left, he carried her to his penthouse overlooking Central Park, laid her on black satin sheets, and kissed her forehead like she was something precious. Zaid, she slurred, tugging his tie. Stay. He groaned like a man tortured. You have no idea how long I've waited to hear that. Clothes hit the floor. His belt buckle clinked. Her dress ripped under impatient hands. He pinned her wrists above her head with one hand, the other sliding up her thigh. Say it, he growled against her throat. Say you're mine. I'm yours, she gasped. God, Zaid, I'm yours. Mine. Finally. Mine to worship. Mine to ruin. Mine to love until she forgets her own name. Morning came with her parents banging on the door. Zaid, shirtless, glorious, 8-pack on full display, answered wearing only suit trousers riding low on his hips. He dropped to one knee in front of her stunned parents. Sir, ma'am, I love your daughter. I've loved her for 2 years. I have 3 villas in the Hamptons, 7 cars, and more money than I'll ever need. Everything I own will be in her name the day we marry. Please let me take care of her for the rest of her life. Avery's mother actually squealed. By lunchtime, both sets of parents were planning an engagement on August 15th and a wedding in February. Zaid just grinned like he'd won the war. Later, in his office, he pulled her onto his lap behind the desk. Still think younger men can't handle you, baby girl? She bit his lip. You're not a boy anymore, Zaid Meadows. No, he said, voice rough with possession as he pressed her down onto the polished mahogany. I'm the man who's going to put my ring on your finger, my baby in your belly, and my last name on every legal document you'll ever sign. He kissed her hard, claiming, devouring. You ran once. You'll never run again. Avery smiled against his mouth, fingers tangled in his hair. Good, she whispered. Because I'm never letting you go either, little wolf. And outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, New York City glittered like it belonged to them. Because now it did.